I'll never forget the moment I watched a millionaire stand in front of 300 people and announce he was marrying a blonde, while I stood in the doorway in my chef's coat, invisible, exhausted, just trying to survive another day as a single mother. What he didn't know was that in less than 5 minutes, our eyes would meet across that ballroom and everything he thought he wanted would shatter like champagne glass on marble. They say some connections are so powerful they rewrite your entire story in a single heartbeat. But what happens when that connection comes with a price tag of public scrutiny, family rejection, and a 5-year-old daughter whose heart you'd die to protect? This is the story of how I went from being nobody he'd ever notice to the woman he'd risk everything to choose, and how we both learned that real love isn't about fairy tales or perfect timing. It's about having the guts to build something true when the whole world is watching. Subscribe and comment below if you've ever had to choose between playing it safe and taking the biggest risk of your life, because trust me, this story is about to prove that sometimes the best things in life start with the worst possible timing. Blake's hand trembled against the microphone. Not enough for anyone to notice he'd spent 32 years perfecting the art of appearing composed, but enough that he felt it resonate through the metal stand. "I know many of you have watched Vanessa and me together over these past 2 years," he heard himself say, the words smooth and practiced, despite the strange emptiness spreading through his chest. "You've seen us at events like this one, working toward causes we both believe in." Vanessa's fingers tightened on his arm. "Professional, supportive, exactly right. So, I wanted to take this moment to let you know that very soon I'll be asking her a very important question." The ballroom erupted. 300 people in tuxedos and gowns rose to their feet. Crystal champagne flutes lifted toward the chandelier-lit ceiling. Blake's mother dabbed at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, her smile triumphant. Marcus raised his glass from their table but didn't stand, his dark eyes searching Blake's face with an intensity that made Blake look away. Vanessa turned into him, her cheek brushing his as cameras flashed. "Perfect," she whispered against his ear. "Your mother will be thrilled." "Not I'm thrilled. Not I love you." Blake's throat closed. They descended the stage into a sea of congratulations. Harold Morrison clapped Blake's shoulder so hard it hurt. Catherine van der Berg kissed both his cheeks and told Vanessa how lucky she was. Blake shook hands and accepted well wishes and heard himself laugh at appropriate moments. But he felt like he was watching someone else perform these actions, someone who fit perfectly into this crystalline world of old money and appropriate choices, someone who wasn't actually him at all. "I need to check with the coordinator," he murmured to Vanessa when the crowd finally released them. "Make sure they're ready for the presentation." "Of course." She squeezed his hand once, the gesture more contractual than affectionate, and turned toward a cluster of women already admiring her ring finger, despite the fact that it remained bare. Blake moved through the ballroom, his face aching from forced smiles. The service corridor door loomed ahead, offering brief escape. He pushed through just as the kitchen entrance swung open. Zara Mitchell walked through carrying a silver tray. Their eyes met. Blake forgot how to breathe. She stumbled, her professional composure fracturing for one crystalline second, dark eyes wide, lips parting in surprise. Then she looked away and kept walking, but Blake remained frozen, his heart hammering against his ribs like it was trying to escape, like it had just recognized something his mind refused to acknowledge. Zara swept into the ballroom with silver tray balanced perfectly, aware of his stare like heat against her back. "Don't look, don't engage, do your job." "Simone, start with table 6, she murmured, positioning her business partner near the far wall. "Marcus." She nodded to their senior waiter. "Not Blake's friend, a different Marcus entirely. You take the head table. Careful with Mrs. Morrison. She had shellfish earlier and might be sensitive." Her team moved like choreography she'd perfected over 4 years of high-end events. Zara had learned early how to become invisible in rooms like this, black woman in chef's whites, serving people who never looked below their champagne flutes. Tonight felt different. She positioned herself near the kitchen entrance, supervising, forcing her attention anywhere except where he stood in the doorway. Rich guy in expensive tux, probably going to complain about gold leaf placement, but she felt his eyes tracking her movements. Simone appeared at her elbow. "That white dude in the corner won't stop staring at you. I noticed. Want me to handle it? I've got it." Zara touched Simone's shoulder briefly. "Thank you for having my back," and watched her partner move off. She scanned the ballroom. Energy felt good. Guests engaged with dessert. Rhythm smooth. Table 12 signaled. Zara crossed the floor. Professional smile fixed. Middle-aged woman in blue silk gestured apologetically. "I'm so sorry, but I should have mentioned I can't have chocolate. Migraine trigger." "Not a problem at all." Zara's voice stayed warm. "Give me 3 minutes." She disappeared into the kitchen, assembled a poached pear with honey and pistachios from backup ingredients, plated it beautifully, returned in 2 minutes 40 seconds. The woman's face lit up. "Oh, this is gorgeous." Zara smiled and withdrew, aware the man was still watching. "Enough." She crossed directly toward him, shoulders back, professional armor in place. "Excuse me, sir. Is there an issue with the dessert service I should address?" He blinked, clearly caught off guard, opened his mouth, closed it. Color rose in his cheeks, actual embarrassment, not entitled anger. "No, everything is perfect." His voice came quieter than she expected. I wanted to tell you that the soufflé is extraordinary." Zara's defensive wall lowered half an inch. "Thank you. Is the event meeting your expectations? Anything we should adjust for the after-dinner service?" Confusion crossed his face. "You think I'm Blake?" The sharp voice cut through conversation. Elegant, older white woman in diamonds, gesturing impatiently from across the room. "You should go," Zara said quickly. "She looks important." "She's my mother." Something rueful flickered in his expression. Then, reluctantly, "Thank you for making tonight beautiful." He moved toward the woman, glancing back once. Zara turned toward the kitchen, heart beating too fast. "Forget it. Forget him. You have a daughter to get home to." The terrace air hit Zara's lungs like medicine after 3 hours of circulating through overheated ballroom conversations she wasn't part of. She claimed a shadowed corner near the stone balustrade, away from the French doors where guests occasionally spilled out for cigarettes or phone calls. Central Park spread below in darkness, punctuated by streetlights, peaceful and indifferent. 5 minutes, then back to breakdown. Her phone buzzed. Nana Ruth's text showed Emma already asleep, curled around her stuffed elephant. Zara smiled, tension easing from her shoulders. Tomorrow's wedding would clear $3,200 after expenses. Commercial kitchen rent plus utilities. Maybe a cushion for Emma's preschool fees. The terrace door opened. Zara stayed still in her corner, invisible again. Blake Henley stepped out alone, yanked his bow tie loose with both hands, dragged his fingers through carefully styled hair. His polished surface cracked like ice over deep water. "What am I doing?" He spoke to the night sky, voice raw. Zara cleared her throat softly. Blake spun, startled, saw her in the shadows. His expression shifted surprise, then something that looked almost like relief. "Sorry, didn't mean to intrude on your escape." He started to retreat. "Terrace is big enough for 2 people running away." Blake's mouth quirked. He crossed to the balustrade, leaving respectful distance between them. "Your business, how long have you been running it?" 4 years. Started in my grandmother's kitchen with borrowed equipment and 1 client. "That's impressive. Building something from nothing." He sounded genuine, not patronizing. "What made you start?" Zara studied him. Rich men didn't usually ask real questions. Needed work that fit around single motherhood. Needed something that was mine. Blake nodded slowly. "I built my company from a dorm room. Everyone thought I was crazy, dropping out junior year." He paused. "Sometimes I think they were right. Success feels like I built a cage and walked into it voluntarily. Big difference between your cage and mine." "Is there?" Blake turned to face her. "You created something you're proud of. I can see it in how you work. Tonight's menu was extraordinary, not just technically perfect, but soulful. That pear dish you improvised for the allergy, you noticed that." "I noticed everything." The words hung between them. Blake continued quickly. "I mean your team's professionalism, the way you touch people's shoulders when you pass, how you read the room's energy." Zara felt warmth spread through her chest, dangerous and unwelcome. "What do you do?" she asked. "Besides, make speeches at charity galas." "Software development, business operations systems, mostly. It's useful. It's lucrative." He shrugged. "I'm not sure it's mine anymore." They talked. 20 minutes dissolved into comfortable rhythm, her stories about difficult clients and kitchen disasters, his admission that board meetings felt like performance art. Zara heard herself laughing, watched him smile without the careful polish he'd worn inside. The terrace door opened. The blonde woman in champagne silk appeared, backlit and elegant. Her gaze swept the scene. Blake animated and open, Zara listening with genuine interest. Something flickered across her perfect features. "There you are." Her voice stayed light. "Your mother is looking for you, apparently. The Vanderbilts want to discuss something about the foundation." Blake's face closed like shutters slamming down. "Vanessa, this is Zara Mitchell. She owns the catering company. Zara, this is Vanessa Cole, my girlfriend." Girlfriend. The word landed like a stone. Zara's professional mask snapped into place. "Nice to meet you. I should check on my team final breakdown." She walked away without looking back, spine straight, hands steady. Behind her, silence stretched. "I've never heard you sound like that with me." Vanessa's words carried across the terrace. Zara didn't slow down. The grand ballroom echoed with absence. Zara crouched beneath table 12, retrieving a forgotten clutch purse and a pair of cufflinks. Her feet screamed inside her work shoes. Her shoulders ached from 12 hours upright, but she moved through the space with practiced efficiency. "Found the Cartier earring?" Simone called from across the room, tallying inventory sheets. "Under the centerpiece at 6. Left it with the coordinator." Her phone buzzed. Nana Ruth confirming Emma still slept soundly. Zara allowed herself a brief smile before continuing her circuit. "Don't think about the terrace. Don't think about his voice when he said, 'I noticed everything.'" Blake's penthouse overlooked Manhattan's glittering sprawl. He'd stripped to tux pants and unbuttoned shirt hours ago, poured scotch he hadn't touched, stood at floor-to-ceiling windows watching the city breathe. 2:17 a.m. blinked on his phone. No messages. Vanessa had texted goodnight hours ago, perfunctory, relieved. "I've never heard you sound like that with me." He pressed his forehead against cool glass. Zara's face, when she'd talked about building her business from nothing. The careful way she'd said, "single motherhood," watching for his reaction. The comfortable silence between them that felt more intimate than 2 years with Vanessa. Blake grabbed his keys. The Metropolitan Club's main lights were dark, cleaning crew finishing final touches in side rooms. Blake's footsteps echoed across marble as he entered the ballroom. Zara straightened from beneath a table, clutch purse in hand, and froze. Blake stood in the doorway, still wearing his tux pants, dress shirt rumpled and open at the collar, hair disheveled from running his hands through it. "I couldn't sleep," his voice carried across empty space. "Kept thinking about our conversation. Zara should tell him to leave. Should walk past him to the service exit where her van waited. I have maybe 30 minutes before my team finishes." She set the purse on a chair. "Walk with me?" They found themselves on the terrace steps, the city spread below like scattered diamonds. Zara had changed into jeans and a cream sweater, her natural curls loose around her shoulders. The 3 a.m. hour, stripped away pretense. "Her name is Emma. She's 5. Zara pulled her knees up, wrapped her arms around them. "Her father left 2 months before she was born. Said he wasn't ready to be a parent like I was ready at 23. Blake stayed quiet, listening. Building the business with an infant was insane. Nana Ruth would watch Emma while I prepped in her kitchen. 3 a.m. feedings, then making croissants for a brunch booking. Emma's first steps happened while I was plating appetizers for a corporate event." Zara's voice softened. "But she made me brave, made me build something real. That's extraordinary. That's survival." Zara turned to face him. "What's your story? Besides announcing marriage proposals at charity galas?" Blake exhaled slowly. "I don't know who I actually am. Princeton, because my father went there. Computer science because I was good at it. Company because Marcus pushed me. Vanessa because she fit the picture everyone expected." He paused. "Tonight I announced I'd propose because my mother gave me that look, not because I'm in love. That's terrifying, being successful at the wrong life." "Yes, exactly that." Zara's phone buzzed. "Simone, packed and heading out. Need a ride? I have to go." Zara stood, suddenly aware of how close they'd been sitting. Blake followed her to the parking area where her catering van waited, plain white with modest lettering. "Can I see you again?" "Not like this intentionally." Zara stopped, met his eyes directly. "You just announced to 300 people that you're proposing to your girlfriend. I have a 5-year-old daughter who is my entire world. You and I are from completely different universes. This conversation was lovely, but it can't happen again. What if I fix the first part?" Zara shook her head. "You have 48 hours until that announcement goes public and becomes real. Figure out your life, Blake, but don't drag me into the middle of figuring it out." She climbed into the van and drove away, taillights disappearing into pre-dawn darkness. Blake stood in the empty parking lot as the sky lightened and thought, I'm going to fix this. Blake had consumed 4 coffees by 10 a.m., running on caffeine and something close to panic. The bistro Vanessa chose was deliberately quiet white tablecloths, good lighting, far enough from their usual haunts that they wouldn't be recognized. She arrived exactly on time, cashmere sweater in pale blue, pearls at her throat. Shadows beneath her eyes suggested her night had been as sleepless as his. They ordered coffee, pastries neither would eat. The waiter retreated. Last night on the terrace, you were different with her. Vanessa's voice held no accusation. More alive. I've never seen you like that. Blake met her gaze. Does that bother you? It should. She traced the rim of her coffee cup. But mostly I felt relieved. The admission hung between them. We've been comfortable, Vanessa continued. Appropriate. Your mother loves me. My father respects you. We host beautiful parties and look perfect in photographs. But we're not in love. No. She smiled sadly. I kept thinking it would grow. That partnership and compatibility were enough foundation. That I'd wake up one morning and feel more. Blake reached across the table, stopped short of touching her hand. I proposed because it was time, because you checked every box, not because I couldn't imagine my life without you. God, we're terrible at this. Vanessa laughed, the sound brittle. 2 years of performing for an audience that doesn't even care. You deserve someone who looks at you the way I looked at her, and you deserve someone who makes you forget to be appropriate. Vanessa finally met his eyes fully. We've been building the wrong life. Blake. Both of us. Relief washed through him, followed by guilt for feeling relieved. We tell family today, Vanessa decided. Close friends. Monday we release a statement decided mutually to remain friends, respect each other deeply. No drama. Vanessa, go find her. She did touch his hand now, briefly. Don't waste time. Life's too short to live the wrong one. 11:30. They left separately. Vanessa heading north, Blake standing on the sidewalk texting Marcus. Can you meet me? I need to talk. In her car 3 blocks away, Vanessa finally let herself cry. Not for Blake, but for the years spent being who she thought she should be, instead of discovering who she actually was. The tears felt like freedom. Marcus was already waiting when Blake reached the penthouse, sprawled on the leather couch like he owned it. Blake had given him a key years ago. Talk, Marcus said. Blake paced. Living room to kitchen to windows overlooking Central Park and back. Words tumbled out the ballroom, eyes meeting across impossible distance, terrace conversations that felt like oxygen, the 2 a.m. confession in an empty venue. Vanessa's relief, the ending that wasn't heartbreak, but release. And this woman Zara, she has a daughter? 5 years old. Emma. Blake stopped pacing. Her ex disappeared before the baby was born. Marcus whistled low. So she's got real reasons to be careful. I know. And you ended things with Vanessa this morning. Yes. So what are you waiting for? Marcus stood. Go find her. Blake's hands fell to his sides. I don't have her number. No business card. The venue handled the contract. Marcus grinned. You built a tech company from a dorm room. You're telling me you can't find one catering business? 20 minutes later, Blake held the event paperwork. Mitchell and Green Catering. Brooklyn address printed neatly at the bottom. So, go to Brooklyn, Marcus said. What if? Stop. You can handle talking to one woman. Marcus pushed him toward the door. Go. 1:45 p.m. The GPS led him to an industrial building in Sunset Park. Shared kitchen facility, the sign read. 3 other food businesses listed. Blake parked, gripped the steering wheel, made himself breathe. Through the glass door, he could see movement. Stainless steel surfaces gleaming. Someone in white chef's coat moving with practiced efficiency. 5 minutes. He sat there, gathering pieces of courage. Inside, Zara was elbow-deep in pastry dough, flour coating her forearms like snow, hair escaping its messy bun. Completely in her element, rolling and folding, muscle memory guiding her hands. Simone glanced up from her station. What? Isn't that the guy from last night? Zara looked, saw Blake through the glass, nervous and determined, hands in his pockets like a teenager. Her heart performed gymnastics. She wiped her hands, left flour handprints on her apron, met him outside before he could come in and disrupt her workspace. Before you say anything, Blake started. Zara crossed her arms, professional mask sliding into place. I ended things with Vanessa this morning. The words came fast. It was the right thing regardless of you, but I'd be lying if I said meeting you didn't show me what was missing. Her mask cracked. You said 48 hours to figure out my life. I'm figuring it out. He took half a step closer. I don't have elegant words or a plan. I just know our conversation was the first time in years I felt like myself. I'm not asking you to date me or trust me or risk anything. Just one day. After your wedding event tomorrow, let me take you somewhere. See if what we felt was real. Every protective instinct screamed refusal. I can't tomorrow. Working until 11. Zara heard her own voice from distance. But Monday night, after Emma's asleep, we could meet. Blake's face transformed. Relief and joy and something close to wonder. One conversation, Zara added firmly. In public. I'm not promising anything beyond that. Yes, anything. Thank you. They exchanged numbers, fingers nearly touching as Blake entered digits into her phone. He left. She watched his car disappear around the corner. Simone materialized at her shoulder. Girl, do you know what you're doing? No. Zara's heart still raced. Not even a little bit. Sunday, 7 a.m. The Westchester estate sprawled across manicured lawns, all old money and white columns. Zara directed the rental company crew through reception setup, clipboard in hand, 3 hours of sleep making her movements sharp. Table arrangements matched the diagram exactly, she told the nervous kid unloading chairs. Bride specific about sightlines. Her phone sat heavy in her pocket, silent since yesterday. Blake respecting boundaries she'd drawn. Good, except some treacherous part of her kept waiting for the buzz of a text. Simone emerged from the estate kitchen, hauling sheet pans. You gonna tell me why you checked your phone 6 times in the last hour? Focused on work. Simone slid the pans onto the prep table. Never seen you distracted by a man before. It's kind of fascinating. Not distracted. Sure, Z. Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Blake stared at quarterly reports without seeing numbers. Marcus sat across the dining table, laptop open, doing the actual work, while Blake's mind spun elsewhere. You're terrified, Marcus said. I'm terrified. Also more alive than I've seen you in years. Marcus closed his laptop. It's allowed to be both. Blake set down his pen. I don't know how to do this. My whole life has been predictable, expected. This is real? Terrifying, Blake admitted. Marcus leaned back. Stop trying to map the whole path. Just show up honestly tomorrow. That's all you can do. Sunday, 4:15 p.m. Blake's thumb hovered over Zara's contact. He typed carefully, Good luck with your event today. I hope it's everything your clients dreamed. Sent before he could second guess. Zara saw it during a water break, sweat dampening her chef's coat, hair escaping her bun. Smiled, despite every protective instinct. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Blake read those 3 words, see you tomorrow, and felt warmth spread through his chest like sunrise. Sunday, 11 p.m. The bride's parents gushed about the meal. Perfect execution, they said. Exquisite presentation. Zara accepted praise mechanically, exhausted, already thinking about tomorrow. She drove home through empty Brooklyn streets, Park Slope quiet under streetlights. Across the city, Blake lay awake in his penthouse, excited, nervous, both. Monday, 8 a.m. Emma crashed into Zara's arms outside Nana Ruth's door, already talking before contact. Mummy, we made chocolate chip cookies and I only ate 2 before dinner like you said, and Nana let me pick the movie, and we watched The Princess, one with the ice. Zara held her daughter close, breathing in her shampoo smell. Home. Nana Ruth watched from the doorway, eyes too knowing. You look different. Just tired from the wedding. Nana Ruth's expression said she knew better. Well, whatever it is, you be careful with that heart of yours. Monday, 7:45 p.m. Emma slept peacefully in her room. Nana Ruth sat in the living room with her knitting, pointed questions tactfully unasked. Zara had changed 3 times. Settled finally on jeans, blue sweater. Not trying too hard. Trying enough. I'll be back by 10, she told Nana Ruth. Take your time, baby. The cafe sat 2 blocks from Prospect Park. Through the window, Blake already waited at a corner table, hands wrapped around a coffee cup. Zara stopped on the sidewalk, breathed, walked inside. Monday, 8 p.m. Blake stood the moment Zara pushed through the cafe door. They hovered in awkward space hug, handshake, before settling on nervous smiles. Hi. Hi. The barista saved them. Zara ordered chamomile tea. Blake got black coffee he didn't need. They found a corner table, movements too careful. First minutes crawled. Both hyper-aware, this wasn't chance, this was intention, which made everything heavier. Then Zara mentioned Emma's latest obsession with dinosaurs, and Blake asked which kind, and suddenly they were talking. She wants to know why about everything, Zara said. Why is the sky blue? Why do birds fly? Why can't we have a puppy? What do you tell her about the puppy? That our apartment's too small. She suggested getting a smaller puppy. Zara's smile transformed her face. Logic of a 5-year-old. Blake leaned forward. I was that kid. Drove my parents crazy asking how things worked. Still do that. Built a career on it. An hour, vanished. They ordered soup tomato bisque for her, French onion for him, and kept talking through cooling bowls. Blake asked about her cafe dream. Zara admitted wanting a physical space, something permanent with her name on it. What would you call it? Haven't let myself think that far. Why not? Zara traced her spoon handle. Dreams feel dangerous when you've got someone depending on you. Blake understood that. Talked about wanting to step back from his company's growth obsession, focus on projects that mattered instead of just profit margins. Your board would hate that, Zara said. Probably. You'd do it anyway? Blake met her eyes. Starting to think I would. The attraction hummed between them, not urgent, but warm. Blake wanted to reach across the table, touch her hand. Zara wanted to lean closer, see if he smelled like cedar or citrus. Neither moved. 9:30 p.m. The cafe door opened. Mummy? Zara's head snapped toward that small voice. Emma stood in pajamas and winter coat, tears on her cheeks, gripping Nana Ruth's hand. Nana Ruth looked stricken. I'm so sorry, baby. She woke up crying. Bad dream. Needed you. I tried calling. Zara grabbed her purse. Phone on silent. 3 missed calls. Emma's face crumpled, seeing her mother. That particular 5-year-old devastation that meant nightmares and fear. Blake stood awkwardly. Not his place. Not his child. But not leaving either. Zara dropped to her knees, pulling Emma close. It's okay, baby. Mommy's here. Emma buried her face in Zara's neck, trembling. Who's that? Emma whispered, peeking at Blake. Zara straightened, still holding her daughter. This is my friend Blake. Blake, this is Emma. And my grandmother, Ruth. Blake crouched to Emma's eye level. Didn't loom, didn't crowd. Hi, Emma. His voice gentled. Bad dreams are the worst, aren't they? Emma nodded, studying him with red-rimmed eyes. Want to hear my secret? Blake asked. I imagine all the scary things getting tiny so small they fit in my pocket. Then they're not scary anymore. Emma considered this. Does that work? Sometimes. When it doesn't, having people who love you nearby helps more. Emma leaned into her mother's shoulder. Zara mouthed thank you over Emma's head. Grateful. Embarrassed. Nana Ruth watched everything with shrewd assessment. You should get her home, Blake said. We can talk later. Zara gathered Emma against her hip. The moment fractured, date ending, mother mode beginning. Is Blake gonna be Mummy's friend more? Emma asked, words slurred with exhaustion. The question suspended in cafe air. Zara met Blake's eyes. Maybe, baby. We'll see. Blake watched them leave Zara carrying Emma, Nana Ruth following with one backward glance, and something in his chest tightened. Seeing Zara as mother, fierce and tender, made him want to know her more. He sat back down alone, touched the table where her hand had rested. Across Brooklyn, Zara buckled Emma into her car seat and wondered if she'd just scared him away, or if his gentleness was real. Tuesday, 7 a.m. Zara woke to an elbow in her ribs. Emma sprawled across 3/4 of the mattress, limbs flung wide like a starfish claiming territory. The restless night clung to Zara's bones. She slipped out of bed and padded to the kitchen. Scrambled eggs, toast, coffee for her, milk for Emma. Mommy, is the nice man your friend? Zara cracked eggs into a bowl. Which nice man, baby? The one from last night, with the pocket dreams. Blake. Of course. He's someone Mommy's getting to know. Emma climbed onto her kitchen chair, serious. Is he your boyfriend? No, honey. Will I see him again? Zara's whisk stilled. I don't know yet. Her phone buzzed on the counter. Blake's name lit the screen. Is Emma okay? No pressure to respond. Just hoping she's all right. Sent at 11 p.m. He'd waited, worried. Something in Zara's chest loosened. She's fine. I'm so sorry about last night. Three dots appeared immediately. Don't be. She's amazing. You're an incredible mum. Zara stared at the words. Most men ran when kids entered the picture. Blake texted about Emma first. Thank you for being so sweet with her. She was scared. That's real. How's she doing this morning? They texted while Zara braided Emma's hair, while Emma ate breakfast, while Zara packed her daughter's lunch. Easy conversation. Nothing forced. Blake asked if they could try again. Maybe Thursday afternoon when Emma was in preschool. Zara's thumb hovered. Brooklyn Botanic Garden, 2 p.m. Perfect. I'll be there. Emma hugged Zara extra tight at preschool drop-off. Nana Ruth arrived to walk Emma home later, eyeing Zara knowingly. That man looked at you like you hung the moon. Nana. And he was sweet with Emma. Ruth's voice gentled. Don't run just because you're scared, baby. Zara didn't answer. Tuesday bled into Wednesday. Work filled the hour's menu. Planning, invoicing, prep for a corporate lunch. Blake texted sporadically. Nothing heavy, just life. A photo appeared Wednesday morning. Catastrophically bad latte art, foam bleeding into shapeless blob. Thinking of starting a cafe to compete with yours. Thoughts? Zara laughed out loud in her kitchen. She sent back her perfectly piped choux pastry. Stick to your day job. Harsh, but fair. The texting felt natural, easy, like they'd known each other longer than 5 days. Thursday, 2 p.m. Late September painted the Brooklyn Botanic Garden in transition greens, fading toward gold. Early leaves scattered on paths. Blake waited at the entrance. Jeans. Henley. No suit, no tux. He looked younger, approachable, real. How was Emma after Monday? First words. Not hello or thanks for coming. Emma. She slept in my bed. Asked about you at breakfast. Blake's expression softened. What you tell her? That you're someone I'm getting to know? They bought admission, entered the gardens, fell into step on tree-lined paths. Did that scare you? Blake asked. Her asking? Terrified me. But you're here. Zara glanced at him. I'm here. Conversation resumed like Monday's interruption never happened. They wandered past the Japanese garden, through the rose collections losing their blooms. The pull between them, that invisible thread wound tighter with each step. Thursday, 2:15 p.m. The Japanese garden stretched before them, maples bleeding crimson against a cloudless sky. Koi circled beneath arched bridges, scales flashing gold. Blake walked close enough, their shoulders nearly touched. My mother never recovered. Zara's voice stayed steady. The addiction took everything. Nana Ruth stepped in when I was 7, became my mom in all the ways that mattered. Blake listened without interrupting. No platitudes, no fixing. She worked cafeteria lunch shifts, came home smelling like industrial soap and mashed potatoes, but she showed up every single day. They found a bench overlooking the pond. Saturday. My father wanted me in law, Blake said. Corporate litigation, partnership track. When I chose computer science, he called it a phase. He picked at a thread on his jeans, built the company to prove something, then kept building, because stopping meant admitting I didn't know what else I wanted. 3 hours disappeared. They walked gravel paths, shared silences that breathed easy. Blake finally asked about Emma's father. Zara's jaw tightened. Marcus. Different from your friend, wish I'd known a Marcus like yours instead. She watched Koi dart beneath lily pads. Charming. Attentive at first. Made me feel seen. Her laugh came bitter. When I told him about the pregnancy, he smiled. Said we'd figure it out together. Blake's hand found hers on the bench between them. He stayed through the second trimester, grew distant, resentful. I'd wake up and he'd be staring at me like I'd trapped him. She swallowed. One morning, 28 weeks pregnant, I woke up to a note on the kitchen counter. I'm not ready to be a father. I'm sorry. That was it. He just vanished. Jesus, Zara. I had no choice except forward. Nana Ruth. Work. Emma. Built everything from nothing because there was no other option. She turned to Blake. So, yes, trusting my instincts again terrifies me. Blake's thumb traced circles on her palm. I'm terrified I've performed so long I don't know how to be real, that I'll try and fail because I've forgotten how. You're real right now. With you, I am. 5:30 p.m. The gardens closed. They walked to the exit like prisoners leaving sanctuary. Can I see you again? Blake asked. Soon? Yes. The word escaped before thought could catch it. 5:45 p.m. Beside Zara's van, Blake stopped. I know this is complicated. Different worlds. Your daughter, my life being semi-public. He stepped closer. But I haven't felt this real with anyone in, maybe ever. Zara's breath caught. I feel it too. It scares me. Scared enough to stop? She considered. Not yet. Blake reached slowly, tucked a curl behind her ear, hand lingering on her cheek. Zara leaned into his palm. They drifted together, breath mingling. Almost, her phone alarm shrieked. Emma, pick up. They sprang apart, breathless. I have to go. Zara's voice shook. Tomorrow. Dinner. I can't do evenings unless it's after 8. Emma. What if I meet Emma? Properly? Blake's words tumbled fast. What if we do something together? The three of us? Zara's eyes went wide. Introducing a man to Emma intentionally meant stakes. Real ones. Saturday. The park near my apartment. 10 a.m. She met his gaze. If you're serious. I'm serious. Zara drove away, hands trembling on the wheel. Blake stood in the empty parking lot, feeling his whole life tilt off its axis. Friday, 9 a.m. Patricia Henley's townhouse smelled of furniture, polish, and old money. Blake sat across from his mother in the formal living room, where nothing was ever casual, not even breakfast. Her teacup remained untouched. A bad sign. Vanessa called me. Patricia's voice cut like crystal. She was kind enough to warn me before I heard through channels that my son has ended a perfectly suitable relationship. Blake kept his spine straight. We weren't right for each other. We both knew it. What people will think. Patricia set her cup down with precise control. You stood on that stage 5 days ago and announced your intentions. Do you comprehend the embarrassment? I comprehend that marrying the wrong person would have been worse. Her eyes narrowed. There's someone else. Not a question. Blake had never been able to hide anything from her. He met her gaze. Yes. Someone from our circle? The Vanderbilt girl, perhaps, or her name is Zara. She's a chef. She owns a catering company. Patricia's expression shifted through surprise, calculation, settling into ice. A chef. A brilliant one. She built her business from nothing. And her family? Her background? Blake heard everything she wasn't saying. She was raised by her grandmother in Brooklyn. She has a 5-year-old daughter. She's a single mother. Patricia stood, moving to the window. Blake, I understand you're going through something. A phase of rebellion or, I'm 32 years old. Blake stood too. I'm not rebelling. I'm making my own choices. Patricia turned, her face carved from marble. Does this woman understand our world? The expectations, the scrutiny, a chef with a child. Does she comprehend what being associated with this family requires? Blake moved toward the door. I don't need your approval, Mom. But I'd like your respect. If you can't offer that, we'll have limited contact until you can. Patricia's shock registered in the slight widening of her eyes. Blake had never drawn this line before. He left her standing in the pristine living room, surrounded by furniture that matched, and art that appreciated, and a life built on appearance. Friday, 7 p.m. Blake stared at his phone. Typed. Deleted. Typed again. Still on for tomorrow? Fair warning, I told my mother about you today. It didn't go well, but I don't regret it. Zara's apartment was chaos, Emma's toys everywhere, dinner dishes in the sink. She read Blake's text 3 times. He told his mother. About her? Made it real. Still on. 10 a.m. Prospect Park. Entrance near 9th Street. Blake, are you sure about this? His response came immediately. More sure than I've been about anything in a long time. Saturday, 9:45 a.m. The park entrance stretched ahead, familiar and suddenly foreign. Zara adjusted Emma's coat for the 3rd time. Is Blake nice? Emma skipped beside her, purple dress bright under tights and jacket. Yes, baby. He's nice. Will he play with me? I think so. Does he like swings? Zara squeezed Emma's hand. We'll find out. Her phone said 9:47. She'd arrived early, needing those extra minutes to settle her breathing, to convince herself this wasn't a mistake. Emma spotted him first. Is that him? Blake walked toward them carrying a backpack, wearing jeans and sneakers, like someone who actually existed in the real world. His face broke into a nervous smile. Emma pressed against Zara's legs. Blake crouched, making himself smaller. Hi, Emma. Remember me from the cafe? Emma nodded, one eye visible around Zara's thigh. Your mom said you like swings. I'm terrible at swings too tall, but I'm pretty good at pushing. Want to test that theory? Emma peeked out fully, considered, nodded again. They walked together, Emma between them but anchored to Zara's hand. The playground appeared through the trees, slides and swings and climbing structures, already busy with Saturday morning chaos. That one. Emma pointed at an empty swing. Blake held the chain steady while Emma climbed on. He pushed gently at first, testing. Emma kicked her legs. Higher. Blake pushed higher. Emma's laugh cut through autumn air. Zara sat on a bench, watching Blake's hands on the swing chains, careful and sure. Watching him laugh when Emma shrieked, "Higher!" Watching him slow without being asked when Emma seemed nervous about the height. 20 minutes passed. The monkey bars next, Blake walking beneath Emma's careful hand-over-hand progress, ready to catch but not hovering. Then rock hunting. Blake sitting cross-legged in grass, while Emma presented him with pebbles and declared their worthiness. "This one's special because it's smooth." "Very special," Blake agreed seriously. Zara's throat felt tight. Blake glanced up, caught her staring. Something passed between them, recognition, permission, possibility. Zara looked away first, overwhelmed. 11:30 a.m. "I'm hungry." Emma flopped dramatically onto the grass. Blake reached for his backpack. Lucky coincidence. He pulled out juice boxes, apple slices, crackers, a small pack of chocolate chip cookies. Emma gasped. "Those are my favorite." Blake spread a blanket. He'd brought a blanket and they sat together. Emma claimed the space between them, demolished her snacks, narrated her entire week at preschool without pause. "And then Tyler said his dad could lift a car, but I said that's impossible, and Miss Rosa said." Blake listened, like Emma's rambling mattered, asked follow-up questions, remembered names when Emma referenced them again later. Zara ate an apple slice and felt herself surrendering. 12:30 p.m. Emma's chatter slowed, punctuated by yawns. She rubbed her eyes with the back of one hand. "We should go, baby. Lunch and nap time." "No, Blake just got here. I'll see you again soon," Blake said gently. He looked at Zara. "If that's okay with your mum?" Emma turned, pleading eyes upward. "Mommy? We'll see, baby." They walked back, Emma running ahead to examine an interesting tree. Blake moved closer. "Thank you for letting me into this part of your life. I know it's huge." Zara watched Emma. "You were good with her. Really good. But that makes it more real. Scarier." "Scared enough to stop?" Zara met his eyes. "Not yet." At the van, Emma turned suddenly and wrapped her arms around Blake's legs. Blake froze, then carefully touched Emma's back. "Bye, Blake. You're my mommy's friend." Blake's voice came out rough. "I hope so, Emma." Zara buckled Emma into her car seat. Emma announced, drowsy but certain, "I like him, Mommy. He's nice." Zara pulled into traffic, watching Blake wave in her rearview mirror until he disappeared. She was already in deeper than she'd intended. Sunday, 8 p.m. Emma's breathing settled into sleep rhythms. Finally, Zara wiped down the kitchen counter, put away plastic plates from dinner, tried not to check her phone every 30 seconds. It rang. Blake's name lit the screen. "Hi." Zara's voice came out breathy. "Hi, I just wanted to hear your voice." She sank onto the couch, pulling a throw blanket across her lap. "You've been texting me all day." "Not the same." Blake's voice carried warmth through the phone. "How was the birthday party?" "Loud, sticky." Emma ate her weight in cake. Blake laughed. Through the phone, Zara heard city sounds, distant traffic, wind. "Where are you?" "My balcony. Watching lights, thinking about yesterday." 2 hours disappeared. They talked about childhood memories, embarrassing moments, favorite books. Zara told him about burning her first souffle in culinary school. Blake confessed he'd crashed his company's server during their first investor meeting. Then Blake shifted. "There's this dinner, Wednesday. Industry thing. Marcus is getting an innovation award. Boring speeches, mediocre food." He paused. "Would you come with me?" Zara's stomach dropped. "I can't. No babysitter. Nothing to wear. I'd be out of place." Blake finished quietly. "You wouldn't be. You'd be with me." After they hung up, Zara stared at her ceiling until 2 a.m. Monday, 9 a.m. "This is moving fast." Simone chopped vegetables with aggressive precision. "Real fast. You sure about this?" Zara measured flour. "I'm not sure about anything except that he makes me happy." "Happy's good. But his world?" "That's different rules, Zara. Different pressures. And you've got Emma to think about." Nana Ruth's voice countered later, over the phone. Honey, you've been safe for 5 years. Safe is good, but safe isn't living. Tuesday, 3 p.m. Blake appeared in the kitchen doorway holding coffee cups. Zara looked up from her pastry dough, flour streaking her cheek. You texted you were in the neighborhood. I drove from Manhattan. That's not the neighborhood. Blake set down the coffee. Wednesday. Come with me. Zara's hands stilled. The words came raw. I don't know how to exist in your world, Blake. I'm a single black mother who works with her hands. Your mother already hates me without meeting me. What happens when there are photos? When people judge? When Emma sees? Blake moved closer, but didn't touch. I can't promise it'll be easy, but I can promise I'll be beside you through all of it. And if anyone disrespects you, we leave together. He waited, then added, I'm not asking you to fit into my world. I'm asking if we can build something that's ours where neither of us has to shrink or perform. Zara searched his face for cracks in conviction. Found none. Okay, Wednesday. But I'm driving myself there. I need an escape route. Fair. Blake kissed her forehead, gentle and deliberate. Their first real touch beyond accidental grazes. After he left, Simone appeared beside Zara. Lord help us, you're falling in love with him. Zara kneaded her dough and didn't deny it. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Zara tugged the black sheath dress down, checked the mirror again, and hated everything. You look beautiful, Mummy. Emma bounced on the bed. Nana Ruth stepped behind her, hands steady on Zara's shoulders. She lifted the delicate gold chain Grandpa's gift from 50 years back and clasped it around Zara's neck. Hold your head high, baby. You belong anywhere you choose to be. Zara met her grandmother's eyes in the mirror and nodded, not trusting her voice. 7:15 p.m. The hotel ballroom gleamed with expensive lighting and expensive people. Zara stood near the entrance, fingers clenched around her clutch, scanning faces. White, wealthy, paired off in couples who belonged. She texted, I'm here. Blake appeared through the crowd within 90 seconds, his face transforming when he spotted her. You're stunning. He took her hand like it was the most natural thing in the world. Come on. He kept her close, never releasing her hand. This is Zara Mitchell. She owns one of Brooklyn's best catering companies. Pride colored his voice each time, proprietary in the way that made her chest warm. Marcus found them, recognition immediate in his grin. His girlfriend Keisha pulled Zara aside within minutes. Thank God. Another non-tech person. Keisha's whisper carried relief. I was drowning in cryptocurrency talk. Zara laughed, tension easing. 8:30 p.m. Blake's hand settled on her knee beneath the white tablecloth during dinner, warm, grounding, claiming. Across the table, an older CEO with silver hair leaned forward. So, your little catering business, that must keep you busy. The condescension dripped obvious. Blake's jaw locked, but Zara beat him to response. We're small but growing. Last year we did 300 events with a 98% client satisfaction rate. We're hoping to expand to a physical cafe location within 2 years. The CEO blinked. Impressive. Blake squeezed her knee. 10 p.m. Outside, the autumn air cut cool against Zara's heated skin. I wanted to punch him. Blake's voice carried restrained violence. Zara laughed. I handled it. You did. You were amazing. Blake's phone buzzed. He glanced down, then showed her the screen Marcus had forwarded, a photo already circulating tech industry group chats. Blake and Zara together, his hand at her waist, both smiling. The caption speculated, Blake Henley's new mystery woman? Zara's breath caught. It's starting. Are you okay? She took a breath, steadied herself. As long as you meant what you said about building something that's ours. Blake pulled her close, his hands framing her face. I meant every word. He kissed her, soft at first, tentative, questioning. Then Zara's hands found his neck, and Blake's arms wrapped her waist, and the kiss deepened into something that erased the city around them. When they broke apart, both breathless, Blake whispered, I'm falling for you, Zara. I'm falling too. Her voice trembled. That's what scares me. But she didn't step away. Thursday, 7 a.m. Zara's phone vibrated across the nightstand. Once, twice, 17 times. She grabbed it, squinting at the screen. Missed calls from Simone, texts from numbers she didn't recognize. Her email inbox flooded with notifications. The first headline made her stomach drop. Tech millionaire Blake Henley steps out with mystery. Woman weeks after split from socialite Vanessa Cole. The photo showed them outside the hotel, Blake's hand on her back, both smiling. She looked happy, beautiful even. She scrolled. More sights, more photos. The kiss under the awning, captured by someone's phone in the background. Then she saw it. Emma. A photo from her Instagram, months old, before she'd locked everything down. Emma on the swings, grinning at the camera. Mystery woman identified as Brooklyn caterer and single mother Zara Mitchell. Her hands shook so hard she dropped the phone. 8 a.m. They put Emma's face in a tabloid. Zara's voice cracked on the phone. Blake, I know. I'm so sorry. I'm coming over right now. Rush hour. I don't care. She hung up and stared at her living room. Normal. Everything looked normal. Emma's toys scattered across the rug. Coffee brewing in the kitchen. Simone arrived first, letting herself in with her key. You okay? Zara shook her head. Is this what you signed up for? Simone sat beside her, arm around her shoulders. Not unkind, just real. I don't know what I signed up for. Nana Ruth came through the door next, already dressed for the day. She set her purse down and surveyed Zara with that calm that came from living through worse. Baby, the question isn't whether people will talk, they always will. She settled into the armchair. Question is whether what you have with him is strong enough to weather it. 10 a.m. Blake's knock was soft, tentative. Zara opened the door. He looked wrecked, shadows under his eyes, jaw tight. Emma's at preschool, she said. He stepped inside. Neither moved to touch. I knew there would be a tension, but not like this. Zara wrapped her arms around herself. Not Emma being dragged into it. I'll release a statement. Tell them to leave you alone. Whatever you need. And then what? They stop? You know they won't. Blake's hands clenched. Then I'll step back. Let things cool down. Is that what you want? No. His voice broke. I want to be with you, but I won't risk Emma's well-being for what I want. Zara paced to the window, stared at the street below. Normal people doing normal things. No cameras, no speculation. I need time. A few days to process this and figure out what's best for Emma. 11 a.m. Blake sat in his car outside her building, head in his hands. Everything he touched lately seemed to break. Upstairs, Zara stared at the photo on her phone, the kiss under the awning. She looked radiant, in love. Then she looked at Emma's stuffed rabbit on the couch. Her phone buzzed. Whatever you decide, I understand. But I need you to know this wasn't a whim for me. I love you. The tears came hot and fast. She wanted to say it back. God, she wanted to say it back. But love wasn't enough when your daughter's face ended up in tabloids. Friday, 9 a.m. Zara hadn't opened Blake's text since yesterday. Those 3 words sat there, unacknowledged. I love you. She'd spent 24 hours spiraling talking circles with Nana Ruth, arguing in her own kitchen with Simone at midnight, researching Blake's family until her eyes burned. Old society photos, his mother's charity galas, articles about the Henley fortune going back 3 generations. Then she'd made the mistake of reading comments. Gold digger. He's slumming. Give it 6 months. Some were supportive. Most cut. This morning, Emma had climbed into her lap during breakfast and asked, Why are you sad, Mommy? Just tired, baby. Is Blake making you sad? I thought he was nice. Zara had no answer for a 5-year-old's clarity. 9:15 a.m. Blake sat at his desk, unshaven, the same shirt he'd worn yesterday. Marcus appeared in the doorway. You look like hell. Feel worse. You can't fix this by waiting. Marcus dropped into the chair across from him. You need to show her you're serious. Not just about her, but about handling the pressure. Blake's head came up. Call your publicist, Marcus continued. Make a statement. Address the invasive coverage. Protect her and Emma publicly. Blake was already reaching for his phone. 11:30 a.m. Zara's phone buzzed. I'm not going to pressure you, but I need you to know I'm taking action Monday to address the invasive coverage. You and Emma deserve privacy and respect. I should have protected that better. I'm sorry. She read it 3 times. Simone, prepping vegetables across the kitchen, glanced up. Him? He's making a public statement Monday. About what? Protecting Emma's privacy, I think. Simone set down her knife. Look, I don't trust rich men in general, but that man showed up in Brooklyn at 8 a.m. on a Thursday because you were upset. He's either a world-class manipulator or he's for real. She paused. You know which. 3 p.m. Zara stood outside Emma's preschool with the other mothers. Emma ran out, backpack bouncing. Mummy, Lisa Brennan, perfect highlights, perfect yoga body materialized beside her. Zara, I saw Emma's photo going around online. Must be so stressful. The fake concern dripped like honey. Zara's jaw tightened. The gossip had reached her community, her safe space. We're fine, Lisa. Emma tugged her hand. Can we get ice cream? Not today, baby. In the car, Zara's hands shook on the wheel. Not at Blake exactly. At the invasion, the powerlessness. She called Nana Ruth. Come over, Ruth said before Zara could speak. Bring Emma. We'll make cookies and you'll think straight. 6 p.m. Emma stood on a stool at Nana Ruth's counter, rolling cookie dough with flour-dusted hands. Ruth watched Zara pace the small kitchen. Your grandfather was a jazz musician. Zara stopped. My family thought he'd never provide stability. Too uncertain, too risky. I married him anyway. Ruth's voice softened. We had 32 years before he passed. Hard years sometimes, but full of love and music. This is different. The public exposure, the race dynamics, the wealth gap. Ruth nodded. All true, all harder, but the question's the same. Is he worth it? Is what you feel worth fighting for? Zara thought about Blake's hands steadying Emma on the monkey bars, the kiss that made her forget the world existed. I love you sitting unanswered on her phone. I think he might be, she whispered. And that's terrifying. Good, Ruth smiled. Love should be a little terrifying. That's how you know it matters. 8 p.m. Zara's fingers hovered over her phone. Can we talk tomorrow? In person. Blake's response came within seconds. Yes, anytime, anywhere. The park. 10 a.m. Just us. I'll be there. Saturday. 10 a.m. Blake was pacing when Zara arrived. She watched him from 20 feet away, the nervous energy, the way he kept checking his phone, then shoving it back in his pocket. When he spotted her, his whole body stilled. Hope and terror, in equal measure, crossed his face. They sat on the same bench where Emma had found her interesting rocks last week. Neither spoke for a long moment. I've spent the last 48 hours trying to talk myself out of this. Zara's voice was steady despite her racing heart. Finding every reason why we won't work. Blake's jaw tightened, but he stayed quiet. The public attention, Blake. Emma's face was in tabloids. My daughter. She gripped the edge of the bench. The class differences. Your mother already hates me without meeting me. The risk to Emma if things end badly. If you wake up one day and realize this was just... It's not. Let me finish. She pulled in breath. The reality of your world and its treatment of people who look like me. The comments I read. God, I shouldn't have read them, but I did, and I can handle people being cruel to me. But Emma will see this someday. She'll read what people said about her mother. Blake's hands were fists on his knees. Zara finished. So, I need you to tell me how we make this work. Not promises that everything will be fine. Real answers. Those are all real, Blake said carefully. I can't make them disappear. But here's what I can do. He turned to face her fully. Monday, I'm issuing a statement. Addressing the invasive coverage, requesting privacy, being honest about us, not hiding you or our relationship, but setting hard boundaries about Emma's protection. He paused. I'm also stepping back from public-facing roles. Marcus can handle the spotlight. I'll focus on development work. Zara's eyes widened. I'm prepared to lose relationships, including with my mother, if they can't respect you. His voice roughened. And most importantly, if you need to end this for Emma's well-being, I'll accept it. Even though it'll break my heart. The words hung between them. I'm terrified of repeating patterns, Zara whispered. Of trusting the wrong person and letting Emma suffer. What does your gut tell you? Not your fear, your gut. She was quiet. A jogger passed. Children's laughter drifted from the playground. My gut says you're different, that you're real. She met his eyes. That you see me and Emma as people, not some fantasy or rebellion. Blake took her hand. Because you are real. You're the most real thing in my life. 11:30 a.m. Okay. Blake's breath caught. We try. Really try. Zara laced their fingers together. But with boundaries, Emma comes first. Always. If the pressure gets too much, we reevaluate, and we're honest with each other, even when it's hard. Emma comes first. Blake agreed immediately. Always. Zara took a shaky breath. I love you too. I should have said it Thursday night. I was scared, but I love you. Blake pulled her close and kissed her, relief and joy and commitment all tangled together. When they broke apart, he pressed his forehead to hers. What happens now? Now you meet my grandmother properly, and I meet Marcus and Keisha like a real person, not a terrified one. Zara smiled. And we figure this out together. Together. They walked toward the park exit, hands clasped. At the coffee cart near 9th Street, Blake texted Marcus. It's going to be okay. Zara texted Nana Ruth. We're trying. For real. Both feeling terrified. Both choosing it anyway. Monday, 9 a.m. Blake stood at his office window, statement printed in his hand. Behind him, Marcus and the publicist waited. You sure about this? Marcus broke the silence. Once it's public, there's no taking it back. Blake turned from the Manhattan skyline. I'm sure. Across town, Zara measured flour with hands that wouldn't quite steady. Simone watched from across the stainless steel counter, arms crossed. What if this makes it worse? Simone asked. Then we deal with it. Zara dumped the flour into the mixer. But at least he's trying. 9:30 a.m. Blake's publicist hit send. The statement appeared simultaneously across platforms, verified accounts, major outlets, carefully coordinated. I want to address recent media attention regarding my personal life. I'm in a relationship with Zara Mitchell, an incredibly talented chef and business owner, and a wonderful mother. We're navigating this relationship like any couple, but with the added pressure of public interest. I'm asking for privacy and respect, particularly regarding Miss Mitchell's young daughter, who deserves to be kept out of media speculation. To be clear, Zara is not a mystery woman or a weirbound. She's someone I deeply respect and care for, and I won't tolerate invasive or disrespectful coverage of her or her family. I'm grateful to those who've reached out with support, and I'm asking those with judgment to examine why a successful woman building her own business is somehow controversial. Blake's phone exploded with notifications. Marcus squeezed his shoulder. Done. No going back now. Good, Blake said. 10:30 a.m. It's done. Blake's voice came through Zara's phone. How are you? She stepped outside the kitchen, into the alley. Relieved. Scared. But relieved. The response is mixed, but most outlets are agreeing to boundaries about Emma. Zara closed her eyes. Thank you. I have meetings until 6. Dinner tonight? 8? After Emma's bedtime? Yes. 8 p.m. Blake found Zara already seated at the small Italian place in Brooklyn, tucked into a corner booth. She slid her phone across the table as he sat. The article headline read, Tech entrepreneur Blake Henley sets boundaries for media coverage of new relationship. He scanned it, largely positive, praising his directness. Then he saw the quote at the bottom. Vanessa Cole, Henley's previous girlfriend, reached for comment. Blake is a good man who was living a script. I'm happy he's found someone who makes him want to write his own story. I wish them both the best. Your ex-girlfriend is classy, Zara said. Blake laughed, relief flooding through him. She is, and so are you for not being threatened by that, they ordered. The conversation turned light. Emma's declaration that pink was over and purple was the only real color. Blake's disastrous attempt at making carbonara, Nana Ruth's unsubtle hints about Sunday dinner. Over tiramisu, Zara said. This feels normal, like we might actually be able to do this. Blake caught her hand across the table. We can do this. They left the restaurant and walked Brooklyn streets hand in hand, anonymous among evening crowds. Just two people in love, figuring it out. Tuesday, 11 a.m. Zara's phone buzzed, unknown number. She nearly declined, expecting another journalist, but her thumb hit accept. Hi Zara, this is Vanessa Cole. The voice was cultured, measured. We haven't officially met, but do you have a few minutes to talk? Zara set down her whisk. Yes? I saw Blake's statement, and the media circus. Vanessa paused. I wanted to reach out woman to woman. I'm not calling to interfere or cause drama. Blake and I ended things mutually, and I'm genuinely happy for you both. Zara leaned against the counter, off balance. I saw how Blake looked at you that night, on the terrace at the gala. Vanessa's voice carried something warm, almost wistful. It was different from anything he felt with me. I knew it immediately. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I just wanted to warn you gently about the pressures, the social expectations, his mother's persistence, the subtle and not so subtle judgments. Vanessa drew a breath. But Blake is genuinely good. He's been living on autopilot for years. You woke him up. Don't let him go back to sleep because of other people's narrow-mindedness. And don't let them make you small. Zara's throat tightened. Thank you. Good luck, Zara. The line went dead. Simone appeared from the storage room. Who was that? Vanessa Cole. Blake's ex? Simone's eyes went wide. What did she want? Zara recounted the conversation. Simone listened, then shook her head slowly. Okay, that's either elaborate manipulation or the universe telling you this is right. She grabbed her apron. Given everything else, I'm going with option 2. Zara laughed, the first real laugh in days. 6 p.m. Emma climbed into the van, quieter than usual. She'd been absorbing her mother's stress all week, going still when Zara tensed. Ice cream? Zara asked. Emma's face brightened. They sat at a small shop near the apartment, Emma working through chocolate chip while Zara picked at vanilla. Are you still worried, Mommy? Zara met her daughter's eyes. A little, but I'm also happy. Because of Blake? Yeah, partly because of Blake. Emma swirled her spoon. I like when you're happy, and I like Blake. So it's okay to be worried and happy. Zara pulled Emma close, amazed. You're right, baby. You can be both. When can we see Blake again? The question landed soft but significant. Emma had bonded faster than Zara anticipated, wonderful and terrifying in equal measure. Soon, I promise. 10 p.m. Zara texted Blake about Vanessa's call. She's a better person than I probably deserved, Blake replied. I'm glad she reached out. Then, Emma asked about me? She did. Is that okay? Zara stared at the screen. Scary, but okay. Can I see you both this weekend? She typed before fear could stop her. Come to Sunday dinner. Meet Nana Ruth properly. I'd be honored. Zara set down her phone, feeling pieces fall into place. Maybe they could actually build something real. Sunday, 4 p.m. Blake stood outside Nana Ruth's apartment building, flowers in one hand and a children's book in the other. He'd asked Zara about Emma's interests, animals and space, and found a story about animals going to the moon. His palms were sweating. The door opened. Ruth looked him up and down, unhurried. So you're the one who's got my grandbaby all twisted up. Blake opened his mouth, closed it. Ruth's eyes twinkled. She accepted the flowers. Come in. Let's see if you can cook or if you're one of those rich boys who's useless in a kitchen. Ruth put him to work immediately, cutting vegetables, stirring gravy, setting the table. Emma helped by stealing carrot slices and updating Blake on every detail of her week. Her friend Madison's new shoes, the butterfly at recess, how she could almost write her whole name. Zara watched Blake in her grandmother's kitchen, sleeves rolled up, taking direction from Ruth, laughing at Emma's stories. Something in her chest opened wider. Dinner was pot roast, Ruth's famous recipe, with sides that filled the small table. Ruth asked Blake direct questions between bites. What are your intentions with my granddaughter? To build something real, to show up consistently, to be worthy of her trust. Your mama giving you trouble about this? Blake paused. Yes, ma'am. We're working through it. And when push comes to shove, your mama or Zara? Zara. No hesitation. Every time. Ruth nodded, satisfied. After dinner, Emma fell asleep during the movie, sprawled across the couch. Blake carried her to Ruth's bedroom without being asked, following Zara's whispered directions. He tucked the blanket around her small shoulders, smoothing her curls. Zara watched from the doorway, throat tight. They returned to the living room. Ruth made tea and settled into her chair. My granddaughter has been alone for a long time. By choice, she got hurt and decided safe was better than sorry. Ruth looked at Blake over her cup. You've made her want to try again. That's precious, but it also means if you break her heart, you'll have me to answer to. I understand, ma'am. I don't take that lightly. Good. 8:30 p.m. Blake prepared to leave. Ruth hugged him, a real hug, maternal and welcoming. You're all right, Blake Henley. Come back next Sunday. Blake's voice caught. Thank you. Zara walked him to his car. At the curb, Blake turned. Your family is incredible. Emma is incredible. You're incredible. They like you. Emma really likes you. Blake heard the worry underneath. Is that scary? Yes. Because now, if this doesn't work out, it won't just be me who's hurt. Blake cupped her face. So we make it work. Not perfectly, we'll fight and mess up and have hard days, but we commit to figuring it out together. Zara kissed him, soft and full of promise. Okay, together. Zara returned upstairs. Ruth looked up from her tea. That's a good man, baby. Don't let fear steal him. Zara sat beside her grandmother, resting her head on Ruth's shoulder. I won't, Nana. I'm choosing brave this time. 3 weeks later, early October. Blake and Zara had found their rhythm. Dinners twice a week, park days with Emma on weekends, stolen lunch hours when schedules aligned. The media attention faded to occasional mentions. Blake's mother still refused contact, but Blake had made peace with the boundary. Then Patricia Henley called on a Tuesday morning. I want to meet her. Lunch tomorrow. Just the 3 of us. Blake immediately called Zara. You don't have to do this. We can maintain boundaries. But part of me hopes that if she meets you, she'll understand why I love you. Zara spent 24 hours anxious. Simone helped choose an outfit professional but not trying too hard. Nana Ruth coached, be yourself. Polite but not deferential. That woman doesn't get to make you small. Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. The restaurant was upscale Manhattan, all white tablecloths and hushed voices. Patricia sat already waiting, back straight, pearls perfect. She offered a cool handshake. Miss Mitchell, Mrs. Henley. Blake's jaw was tight as they ordered. Patricia wasted no time. Tell me about your business. Zara answered honestly how she and Simone built Mitchell and Green from nothing, their growth trajectory, plans for expansion. She didn't apologize for starting small or over-explain her success. And your plans regarding my son? To build a partnership based on honesty and respect. How practical. Patricia's tone was dry. You understand Blake's position comes with scrutiny. How do you plan to protect your daughter from that? Zara set down her fork, met Patricia's eyes directly. I protect Emma the same way I protect myself, by choosing partners and circumstances that honor her well-being. Blake has been respectful and careful with her. If he weren't, we wouldn't be here. Patricia turned to Blake. And you're truly prepared to take on a ready-made family? A child who isn't yours? Blake's voice was clear, unwavering. Emma isn't a burden to take on. She's a smart, wonderful kid who deserves love and stability. I'm prepared to be whatever she needs me to be, friend, mentor, eventually maybe more, if Zara and Emma both want that. But yes, I'm absolutely prepared. Something shifted in Patricia's face. 2 p.m. As lunch wound down, Patricia addressed Zara directly. I won't pretend I understand my son's choices lately, but I can see you care for him. I'm asking as his mother that you be certain about your intentions before you let him get more attached. Zara didn't flinch. Mrs. Henley, I've been hurt before. I have a daughter to protect. I wouldn't be here if I weren't serious. I love your son, and I'm choosing to build a life with him despite legitimate fears and obstacles. I can't give you certainty about the future, no one can, but I can promise I'm not careless with hearts not his, not Emma's, not my own. Patricia studied her. Finally she nodded. I believe you. Not acceptance, but a beginning. Outside, Zara exhaled deeply. How are you? That was harder than most professional negotiations, but I survived. Blake pulled her close on the street corner. You were amazing. Your mum might never fully accept me. Maybe not, but I accept you. I choose you. That's what matters. They walked through Manhattan together, Zara leaning into Blake's side. Another hurdle cleared, their foundation stronger for it. Mid-January, 3 months after the gala. Emma has a special request, Zara said into the phone, balancing it between shoulder and ear while chopping vegetables. She wants you at her birthday party. Blake's voice carried genuine uncertainty. What do I do at a 6-year-old's birthday party? Follow Emma's lead and survive. His laugh was warm. I can do that. The weeks that followed showed how seamlessly their lives had woven together. Blake appeared at Zara's commercial kitchen on Thursday, sleeves rolled up, helping prep components for a corporate event. His hands were clumsy with pastry but willing. You're slow, Simone observed, not unkindly. I'm thorough. That's what slow people say. Wednesday evening found Emma sprawled across Blake's penthouse floor, coloring while Zara and Blake worked side by side on the couch, her menu planning, his quarterly projections. Emma periodically interrupted with announcements. I drew a purple elephant, or my marker died, Blake responded each time, as if these were matters of grave importance. Sunday dinners at Nana Ruth's had become ritual. Blake arrived early now, helping cook without being asked. Ruth taught him her biscuit technique. He still couldn't get them quite right, but she appreciated his trying. Marcus and Keisha came for game night at Zara's apartment, bringing wine and competitive energy. They played charades. Blake was terrible, Emma was surprisingly good, and Zara's stomach hurt from laughing. Patricia had coffee with Blake and Zara twice more. Cordial, measured conversations where Patricia asked careful questions and Zara answered with patient honesty. Not warm, but no longer cold. Blake had restructured his company obligations, delegating more, attending fewer galas. Marcus approved. You're actually present in meetings now instead of performing presents. Zara's business grew partly from residual PR attention, mostly because she was exceptional at her craft. She'd hired 2 additional prep cooks and was seriously researching cafe locations. They functioned as partners. Blake asked Zara's opinion on a potential business expansion. Zara consulted Blake about commercial real estate contracts. They discussed Emma's preschool transition to kindergarten like co-parents, though Blake never overstepped Zara's final say. Emma called him Blake, not Dad, not even yet, but trusted him completely. Late January, Saturday afternoon. Zara's apartment exploded with balloons, shrieking children, and frosting. 12 6-year-olds had more energy than any space could contain. Blake arrived with a wrapped box, immediately swarmed. Is that for Emma? What is it? Can I open it? Emma tore into the paper, gasped. A real telescope beginner model, but functional. Her space obsession finally had equipment. Blake, can we see the moon tonight? If it's clear. Absolutely. He helped orchestrate party games, hilariously out of his element but genuinely trying. Musical chairs turned chaotic. Pin the tail on the donkey resulted in a poster torn half off the wall. Face painting devolved into Emma's friends, decorating Blake's face with markers. He sat perfectly still, letting tiny hands draw flowers and stars across his cheeks. Nana Ruth pulled Zara aside. That man loves you and that baby. You see that, right? Zara watched Blake let a child put butterfly stickers in his hair. Yeah, Nana, I see it. 8 p.m. After the party, after cleanup, after Emma finally crashed asleep, Blake and Zara collapsed on her couch. I have marker on my neck that won't come off. Zara laughed, exhausted. Battle scars. Blake pulled her close, his voice going quiet. I've been thinking about something. Zara tensed slightly. I love you. I love Emma. I love this life we're building, the messy, chaotic, exhausting reality of it, and I want to keep building it. No pressure, no timeline, but I'm in this for the long term. Zara's eyes filled. I'm in this too, for the long term. You and me and Emma and whatever comes next. Blake kissed her forehead. They sat in comfortable silence, Zara curled against his chest, both feeling the weight and lightness of commitment. 4 months ago, Zara never could have imagined this. This peace, this partnership, this choosing love despite fear. Late February, 6 months after the gala, Blake set down his wineglass, fingers drumming against the stem. I've been talking with Marcus about restructuring my role, transitioning some responsibilities. Zara looked up from her pasta. Why? I want to focus on something meaningful. Educational tech for underfunded schools, maybe. Something with actual purpose, instead of just... He gestured vaguely at his penthouse view. Accumulation. She studied his face. Are you doing this because it's what you want, or because you think it's what I'd want you to do? Blake went still. The question hit precisely where it needed to. Both, maybe. He met her eyes. You've made me examine what success actually means, and I want Emma to see that wealth is only meaningful if you use it for something good. Zara reached across the table, covering his hand. Just make sure you're doing it for you, too. The conversation expanded. Blake mentioned, carefully, the idea of eventually finding a place together, something that belonged to both of them, not his world or hers. Emma's stability, Zara said immediately. Same school district, whatever timeline feels right. She appreciated that he always considered Emma first. Then Zara mentioned the cafe locations she'd been researching. Blake offered to invest before she'd finished the sentence. Zara's spine straightened. No. It's a business investment. I've built everything on my own. This isn't charity, Zara. I don't want to owe you. Their first real argument unfolded across Blake's dining table. Blake insisted his money could do something useful. Zara insisted her independence mattered more than capital. They raised voices, cooled down, circled back. Finally, compromise. A formal business loan with market rate terms. Only if Zara actually wanted it. 2 weeks later, mid-March. The Park Slope storefront had good bones, large windows, decent square footage, workable plumbing. Zara stood in the empty space envisioning equipment placement, customer flow, the life she'd been building toward for years. Blake watched her face transform with possibility. "This is going to be amazing," he said, voice rough. Zara turned. "I'm taking you up on that loan. Full terms, standard interest." Blake grinned. "Deal." Late March evening. Emma carefully applied glue to a styrofoam ball painted like Jupiter. Blake held the wireframe steady, while Zara stirred sauce at the stove. "Blake, are you gonna marry my mummy?" The wooden spoon clattered against the pot. Blake's hand didn't shake. "Would you be okay with that if I did?" Emma considered this with 6-year-old seriousness. "Yeah. You're nice, and you make mummy happy, and you help with homework." Blake laughed. "Important qualifications." Emma returned to her planets. Blake caught Zara's eye across the small kitchen, her expression layered with tenderness, terror, hope. He mouthed, "We'll talk later." After Emma's bedtime, they curled together on Zara's couch. "I know Emma just asked," Blake said, "but I've been thinking about it for weeks. Not proposing now." "Good, because I'd need time. But I want you to know that's the direction I'm heading. When it's right, when we're ready, when Emma is ready, I want to marry you." Zara took his hands, threading their fingers. "I want that too, eventually, when it's right." They kissed, another promise, another conscious choice. Blake left near midnight. Boundaries they'd set together meant he didn't stay over when Emma was home. Zara stood in her doorway watching his taillights disappear, thinking about futures and forevers, and how terrifying and wonderful it was to trust someone with your heart again. 7 months after the gala, Zara stepped back from the cafe wall, roller dripping pale yellow paint. Higher on the left, Blake adjusted the trim piece. "Here? Perfect." Marcus appeared in the doorway carrying 2 more chairs. "I'm billing you for manual labor, Henley. Put it on my tab." 3 weeks into renovation, the space was finally taking shape. Emma sat cross-legged in the corner, marking her territory the future kids area, where Mummy promised books and games. Simone directed contractors with the efficiency of a general commanding troops. "This is really happening," Zara said quietly. Blake climbed down the ladder. "You're surprised?" "I'm terrified." Good terrified or bad terrified? She considered the room her vision made tangible. Walls she'd chosen, equipment she'd selected. Good, definitely good. Mid-May. Soft opening. Emma wielded oversized scissors with theatrical seriousness. The ribbon fell away in 2 pieces. Applause filled the small cafe. Zara couldn't stop smiling, her face actually hurt from it. Friends, family, neighbors packed the space, tasting her pastries and drinking her coffee. Everything she'd built, finally real. Patricia Henley stood near the window, examining the menu board. She approached Zara stiffly, then said something unexpected. "This is lovely. You should be very proud. Warmth, not ice. Progress, not acceptance exactly, but progress." "Thank you, Mrs. Henley." Blake watched from across the room, marveling. 7 months ago she'd been terrified in chef's whites, and now she owned this, commanded it. 2 weeks later, Blake stood at the podium, cameras flashing. "I've learned recently that success without purpose is hollow. I'm grateful to the people in my life who've taught me to want more than wealth, to want meaning." Zara sat in the audience beside Emma, tears threatening her mascara. Afterward, Emma delivered her verdict. "Your speech was good but kind of boring. You should add more jokes." Blake crouched to her level. "You're absolutely right. I know." June. Sunday dinner. Blake and Zara moved through Nana Ruth's kitchen with practiced rhythm. He chopped. She stirred. They bumped hips and laughed. Ruth directed traffic while Emma set the table, tongue between her teeth in concentration. Marcus and Keisha arrived with wine. The apartment filled with warmth and noise. Over pot roast, Emma made an announcement. Blake should come to Family's Day at school. Blake glanced at Zara, checking. She nodded. "Of course he can come, baby." Emma returned to her mashed potatoes, satisfied. Under the table, Blake found Zara's hand and squeezed. Family. He was family now. July. The balcony. Emma's first sleepover meant rare quiet, just Blake and Zara, and the city spread below them. "Remember when I announced I was marrying a blonde at that gala?" Zara laughed. "I remember thinking you were just another entitled rich guy. And then you walked in, and everything changed." Blake turned to face her. "I looked at you and thought, oh, there she is. There who is, the person who'd make me want to live a real life instead of a performed one. Zara's throat tightened. You changed everything for me too. Blake pulled a small box from his pocket. Time stopped. I know we said no timeline, he said quietly, but I don't want to wait anymore just because waiting seems safer.